Now we're going to explore lines and intersections. This is another way to multiply where instead of using lattice method or your standard multiplication algorithm, you're using lines to represent the number that you have and where they intersect to be the number that is the multiplication. So for instance, I have 412 times 31 here. So notice that I have 4 lines here, 1 line here, 2 lines here. That represents 412. There's a space in between each number. Then I have 3 lines up here and 1 line here. So that's 31. And now what we're going to do is we are going to just count out how many dots there are by each intersection that is made. So for instance, I have an intersection between the 4 and the 3. Each of these little dots is a number that I'm going to count. So I had 12 dots here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 dots here. 1 dot here and 2 dots here. Then 3 lines with 1 line makes 3 dots. And then down here I have 6 dots. And just like as if you were to do lattice multiplication, you're working in a diagonal, you're summing what the different products were. So now in this diagonal here, I had 2. In this diagonal here, I would have 1 and 6, which is 7. And then in this diagonal, I would have 4 and 3, which is also 7. And then I would have 12, and I would carry over. So 412 times 31 is 12,772. You can also use lines and intersections for numbers that might have 0 in it. So for instance, looking at this second number that I have set up, let's try and figure out what multiplication I'm doing here. I have 1 line here and 2 lines here, so that's going to be 12 times something. And then I have 1 here. I use a dash line to represent 0, and then I have 3 here. That's going to be the number 103. So I'm going to do 12 times 103. I have 1 dot here, 2 dots here. 0 times anything is 0, so both of those are 0. 1 times 3 is 3. I have 6 dots here. 2 times 3 is 6. And then adding in that diagonal, I have 6, 3, 2, 1. These diagonals that I have here. This means that 103 times 12 is 1236. And that is multiplication with lines and intersection.